So I had a patient lose 35 pounds on GLP-1 medications, but sadly, 15 of those pounds were freaking muscle. 15, right? This is a size difference between a pound of fat and a pound of muscle. Let that sink in. She came into us deflated, weaker, smaller, and honestly kind of heartbroken because she'd done what everybody told her to do. The weight came off and now she hated how she looked. Now, if you're on Retatrutide or you're thinking about it and some part of you is watching that scale drop while another part of you is scared about what's disappearing with it, I need you to hear this first, that it's not the drug. Reta is not reaching in and stripping your muscle. There's a reason this happens, and there's a reason that it happens differently on Reta than Ozempic or Mounjaro. And it's the same reason people are terrified of it. So if you're already sitting there thinking, but I train, I lift, and I still lost muscle, stay with me, because that's the most important part of this entire video, and I'm gonna resolve it for you, okay? Now, if we haven't met yet, I'm Dr. Jones, DC. I lead the nationwide telemedicine clinic where our medical team works with patients on GLP-1 meds and peptides every single day. And I coach those patients, me and my coaches, so we have a whole team now, through the part that nobody prepares them for, keeping the body that you actually want while the weight comes off. And I don't say any of this from the outside because I lost 100 pounds myself, so I know what it is to watch the scale move and wonder if you're freaking shrinking in all the wrong ways. And I've lived the difference between just losing weight and actually rebuilding your body. So when I tell you muscle loss on Retatrutide is fixable, I'm not reading it off of a study. I'm telling you what I watch happen in our clinic with real patients every single week. So let's name the thing that you're afraid of out loud, because that's where this starts. So the trap, it goes like this. You get on Retatrutide, it works fast. The weight starts falling off faster than anything you've ever tried. And somewhere around week 8 or 10, you catch yourself in the mirror and something's off. You're smaller, but you're softer. The number on the scale is everything that you wanted, but the body underneath it isn't. People have a name for it. They call it skinny fat. And the worst part is the quiet fear that you did this to yourself, that you traded the muscle that you spent years building for a smaller pant size. So here's my promise to you for the next 10 minutes. I'm gonna show you exactly why this is happening so that once you see it, you can't unsee it. Then I'm gonna show you how to stop it step by step so that you get the fat loss that Reta is so good at without paying for it with muscle loss. Now, 2 things are going wrong here, and that's it. So let's get into the first one. So what's actually going on? And I promise, by the way, that it's more simple than the internet makes it sound. So when you take Retatrutide, the first thing that it does, the thing that everybody feels first, kills your appetite, right? So food just stops being interesting. Now, for a lot of people, that's the first time in their entire adult life that the constant pull towards food finally goes quiet, and it feels like freedom. But watch what happens next, because this is the whole ballgame. When your appetite disappears, the first thing to fall off your plate is almost always protein. Think about it. When you're barely hungry and you can only stomach a few bites, you're not reaching for chicken and eggs as much you are anymore. You got a few crackers, a little bit of fruit, some coffee. Protein is the hardest thing to eat when you don't feel like eating because it's so satiating, right? And it's the exact thing that your muscles need to survive. So now you've got a body losing weight fast with the protein supply cut off at the same time. And then the second domino effect. Most people, when that weight starts coming off on its own, stop doing the one thing that tells the body to keep the muscle. They stop training. Why grind through a workout when the scale's already moving? So now your muscle is getting no protein coming in and no signal that it's still needed. And your body, which is a brilliant survival machine, looks at that situation and makes a cold decision. We're in famine. Nobody's using this muscle, and muscle is expensive to keep alive. So let's burn it for fuel and hold on to the fat for the emergency. And right there is the trap. Under a hard, fast deficit with no protein and no training, your body defends its fat and sacrifices your muscle. The muscle is what gets fed to the fire. And here's the part that should make you angry and relieved at the same time. The drug didn't do that. The appetite drop set it up, but the protein collapse and the missing training are what actually cost you the muscle. And that's the gap. And a gap is something that you can close out, right? So that's good. Now, here's where Reta is genuinely different and where the thing that you're scared of becomes the thing that can save you. Ozempic and Mounjaro work on 1 or 2 pathways. Retatrutide adds a third one, the glucagon. that pathway, right? And that glucagon arm does something the others don't. It actively goes after stored fat and pulls it out to be burned and cranks it up. The energy that your body spends doing it, that's the glucagon effect. And it's the reason Reta mobilizes fat harder than anything else in this class. It plays by different rules. So sit with what that means for a second. The thing that most people fear about Reta, it's more powerful. It's going to strip more off of me. That's true, but it's aimed at the wrong target in their imagination. That extra power is pointed at your fat. The glucagon arm doesn't go looking for muscle, it goes looking for fat. So when you give your muscle what it needs, protein and a reason to stick around, the training, Reta doesn't become the tool that costs you muscle. It becomes the best tool that you have ever had for stripping fat while maintaining your muscle. By the way, if you're sitting there watching that number drop and feeling that knot in your stomach about what's disappearing, the knot is real. And it's the conversation that we have with patients in our clinic every single day. So if you want a team looking at your numbers and your protocol while this is happening, instead of guessing on your own, there's a free discovery call where you can book, link in the description, or just text the number on the screen. And you can find out what it's like to work with our experts, me, my coaches, the medical team. Either way, keep watching because the next part is the one that trips up even the people who thought they were doing it right.
Quick minute, I want to tell you guys about the Flow Academy membership. Essentially, this is my private community on Mighty Networks. You'll have access to a community coach, live coaching calls that I do, which are unsolicited. I don't have to market like my free lives. I'm just there to help you guys out as much as possible. And a ton of free resources as well to guide you through the various protocols that I talk about in these videos. So all you got to do if you're interested in joining that is just become a member to this YouTube page. And then there's a link that you can access after you become a member that'll allow you to join the community. Now back to the video.
Okay, so the part that I promised you, because some of you are watching this, probably getting a little frustrated, and I know why. You're thinking, Dr. Jones, that's great, but I did train, I did lift weights, I tried to eat protein, and I still watched the muscle strip off. So what's your explanation for me? I got you, I hear you, and you deserve a real answer, not a brush off. So let me give you two of them, because there are two different things going on. Now, the first one is going to take some weight off your shoulders. When you step on a body composition scan and it tells you that you lost lean mass, I need you to understand what that number actually is, because it is not the same thing as muscle. Lean mass includes water, it includes the glycogen stored in your muscles, and when you start dropping weight fast, especially in the first couple of weeks, your body sheds a lot of water and glycogen. That shows up on the scan as lean mass loss. It looks scary, but most of that is not your actual contractible muscle fiber walking out the door. Right? That's the body draining a fuel tank that you'll refill the moment you eat carbohydrates again. So a chunk of what scared you might not even have been the muscle that you were afraid of losing in the first place. Now, it doesn't mean that you absolutely haven't been losing muscle, but if you're in the beginning stages and noticed immediate weight loss, take a breath on that one, okay? Now, the second answer, and this is the harder, more honest one, you probably have heard people online arguing that Reta is the worst for muscle comparatively to Ozempic and Mounjaro. Now, here's the truth underneath that argument. Pound for pound, the ratio of fat to muscle that you lose on Reta is actually aligned with the rest of the medications. It's not some uniquely muscle hungry or muscle sparing drug, because I've actually heard both arguments. But, and this is the whole point, Reta makes you lose more total weight faster. Same ratio, bigger number. So even at the identical percentages, more total loss means more absolute pounds moving. And if even a slice of that is muscle, a slice of a bigger number is a bigger slice. So you see what that means? It doesn't mean Reta is the problem. It means the protocol matters more on Reta, not less. A powerful tool demands a more deliberate plan. The people who get skinny fat on Reta aren't getting punished by the drug. They're running a stronger tool with no plan. Now, one more thing for my, but I try to eat protein crowd, because I'm not gonna let you off the hook gently. Trying it isn't the same as hitting the number. When Reta kills your appetite, eating enough protein stops being something that just happens. It becomes a skill that you have to run with intention. And that's what we're fixing in the next couple minutes. So here's the entire system. 4 pieces, none of them are complicated, but all 4 matter, and most people are missing at least 2 of them. Okay, so number 1, and this is the one that does the heavy lifting, you gotta do protein first, not protein eventually, not protein when you get around to it, protein first. Before the coffee, before the crackers, before anything else, the protein gets in. Here's your target, and I want you to write this down because this is important. About 1 gram of protein per pound of your target body weight every single day. So if your goal is 150 pounds, you're aiming for about 150 grams of protein. And yes, that's higher than the minimum guidelines, but minimum guidelines aren't designed for people losing weight this fast on GLP-1 meds. And on Reta, when your appetite is gone, you are not going to feel like hitting that number. which is why it has to be a rule and not a mood. Front load it early in the day while you still have some appetite. Lean on protein shakes when solid food feels like a chore. Now, this one rule done consistently protects more muscle than everything else combined. Okay, so number 2, you have to give the muscle a reason to stay. And the only language that your body understands for that is resistance training. Now, I'm not talking about walking. I'm not talking about cardio. I'm talking about lifting something heavy enough to be hard. 3 times a week, compound movements. The big ones that work multiple muscle groups at once. 8 to 12 reps, taken close to genuine effort. That's the signal that tells your body that this muscle is still in use. Do not burn it. Cardio is great for your heart, but cardio does not send that signal. Lifting actually does. Okay, so number 3, the dose. And this is where I see people sabotaging themselves. There's this race to climb to the highest dose as fast as possible because higher dose means faster loss, right? But what nobody connects, the higher you push the dose, the harder your appetite gets crushed. And the harder it is to hit that protein number and find the energy to train. So you accelerate the fat loss and you accelerate the muscle loss right along with it. The smarter play is the lowest effective dose, the lowest dose that's still moving you forward. So you preserve enough appetite to eat your protein and enough energy to lift. Foundation first. This is a body composition decision that your medical team should be making with you, not a number that you chase on your own. So number 4 is about timing. And it's the one people don't realize that they're on a clock for. While you're losing this weight, you have a window of opportunity, a stretch of time where the medication is doing the hard part for you and you can build the protein habit and the training foundation that protects you. But that window doesn't stay open forever. The patients who use it, who lock in the protein and the lifting while the weight is coming off, those are the ones who come out the other side smaller and stronger. The ones who wait until they've already lost the muscle are playing catch up against a body that's already let it go. And one note on the tools themselves. If you've ever used any peptide as part of this, it has to come from a legitimate 503A compounding pharmacy with a real provider behind it. Not a sketchy website, not a vial from someone's basement, but quality and oversight aren't optional when you're putting something in your body every single week. If you're using the gray market, send your peptides off to get tested first. Okay, so let me bring this all the way back to where we started. Remember the patient that I told you about, the one who lost muscle before she ever found us? Here's what happened next. We didn't put her on something stronger. We didn't chase a faster number. We did the boring, unglamorous 4 things that I just gave you. Protein first every day, lifting weights 3 times a week, the lowest dose that kept her moving, and we did it inside that window while the weight was still coming off. 6 months later, she gained 8 pounds of muscle back and dropped another 10 pounds of fat. Same woman, same medication class, same weight on the scale, more or less 2 pounds, completely different body in a completely different way that she felt walking into the room. The drug was never her problem, the plan was. And that's the real truth about Retatrutide, the one that I want you to leave with. It is the most powerful fat loss tool that we have ever seen, for now, but power cuts both ways. The Reta trade-off is simple. The stronger the tool, the more it pushes, the more it punishes a missing plan, and the more that it rewards a good one. But you run it blind and it'll happily strip the fat and the muscle together. Run it right and it becomes the closest thing to a cheat code for getting lean while keeping your strength that exists right now. So here's what I want you to do. If you're on Retatrutide or you're about to be and you don't want to gamble with the muscle that you've worked for, don't do it alone. Book a free discovery call with our team. One of our patient educators will speak with you, look at where you're actually at, and see if could be a right fit. And if so, our medical team and coaches can help build the protocol around your body, the protein, the training, the right dose. So you're protecting muscle from day number 1 instead of trying to win it back after it's gone. The link is in the description, or you can text the number on the screen. Either way, you found this video because some part of you already knew the scale wasn't the whole story. Trust me, these algorithms and social media are so damn good, it's like they freaking read your mind, right? Trust that instinct. Get the plan right, and Retatrutide can give you exactly what you came for. Not just a smaller you, but a stronger one. Now, before you go, if protecting your muscle got your attention, there's something else that this fast weight loss does that you need to get ahead of. What it does to your face, your skin, your hair. I made a whole video on how to prevent that whole Ozempic face or even smaller versions of it, the hair thinning, the rest of it. It's the natural next piece of protecting how you actually look while the weight comes off. There it is right there. Check it out, guys. We'll see you later.